Have you ever noticed how life keeps sending you the same kind of people, the same kind of pain, no matter how much you try to change your surroundings? What if I told you it's not the world repeating itself, it's you being reflected back? Until you understand the mirror, you'll keep fighting your own reflection and losing every time. When people talk about protection, they often think of walls, rituals, or prayers. But the truth is, the greatest protection has never been outside of you. It has always been the energy you carry. Your energy is not invisible. It is felt by everything and everyone around you. It communicates before you speak. It warns before danger arrives, and it attracts before opportunity appears. The moment you start paying attention to it, life begins to respond differently. When your energy vibrates with clarity, calm, and inner confidence, negativity has nowhere to attach itself. Think of it like water on polished stone, it slides off effortlessly. But when you live in confusion, resentment, or self-doubt, that same energy becomes sticky. Every unhealed emotion, every silent grudge, every thought of "I'm not enough" becomes an opening, a crack in your spiritual armor. Protection is not about blocking the world out. It's about sealing those cracks from within. Energy is not magic, it's alignment. The frequency of your thoughts determines the texture of your reality. When you operate from love, peace, and purpose, you're sending a signal that says, "Only things of this nature may enter my life," and life listens. The universe is not punishing or blessing, it's reflecting. What you radiate is what returns. That's why awareness is everything. Notice how your energy shifts when you're around certain people or in certain environments. Notice the way your body reacts, tightening, shrinking, or expanding. Those sensations are your first line of communication with the unseen world. Most people ignore them, but the ones who listen learn how to walk protected without needing to fight anything. Because they know that power isn't loud, it's stable. This is not philosophy, it's daily practice. You protect your energy by choosing your focus wisely. You protect it by releasing bitterness quickly. You protect it by grounding yourself in gratitude even when life tests you. The more conscious you become of your inner state, the less control external energies have over you. So if you truly want to be untouchable, don't search for new rituals or hidden symbols. Clean your energy. Guard your peace. Live in awareness, because no curse can find a home in a soul that is already light. Fear is one of the most underestimated forces in human life. It wears many faces: worry, anxiety, doubt, hesitation, and yet all of them share the same root: a belief that something outside of you holds power over your inner state. When you fear a curse, an opinion, or a situation, you unconsciously hand it authority. You give it permission to shape your thoughts and emotions. That is how most people unknowingly open the door to the very thing they wish to avoid. Fear works like a key. It unlocks entry to everything that vibrates on the same level. The moment you accept fear as truth, you invite the reality that matches it. But when you bring awareness into the space where fear used to live, the illusion breaks. You begin to see that fear was never a solid wall, only a shadow that grew large because you kept looking at it. Awareness does not fight fear, it exposes it, and once exposed, fear loses its strength. In psychology, this is known as the observer effect. Whatever you observe consciously begins to change under the weight of your awareness. The same applies to the mind. When you step back and witness your fear instead of identifying with it, you create distance, a space between you and the emotion. In that space lies protection, because awareness is light, and darkness cannot survive in light. But awareness is not the same as control. Many try to suppress fear, to fight it, to act brave while trembling inside. That's not mastery, that's resistance in disguise. The true practice is stillness, the ability to look at fear without reacting to it, to see it rise and fall like a passing cloud while you remain grounded in yourself. In that stillness, you reclaim your authority. Fear may knock, but it cannot enter. Protection, then, is not about building higher walls. It's about dissolving the illusion that there's something to hide from. The moment you realize fear feeds on your attention, you stop feeding it. You turn inward, stand tall, and the spell breaks on its own. Because fear cannot touch the one who sees it clearly. Awareness is the final and only defense. We live in a world that teaches us to clean everything except the one thing that shapes our reality, our inner world. We shower our bodies, wash our clothes, cleanse our homes, but we rarely stop to purify our thoughts. Yet it is the inner dirt, anger, envy, resentment, jealousy, that truly weighs us down. These invisible toxins cling to the mind and distort our energy, and soon, what started as a passing irritation becomes a permanent atmosphere around us. You can sense it in people. Some enter a room and immediately lift the space. Others bring heaviness without saying a word. That's not personality, that's inner hygiene. A person who carries emotional pollution spreads it unconsciously, while a person who cultivates cleanliness radiates clarity and calmness. And energy, like water, always flows toward the cleaner source. That's why those who maintain inner purity attract peace and opportunity effortlessly. They don't chase it, they match it. To live cleanly doesn't mean to suppress emotions or pretend to be positive all the time. It means to process what arises instead of storing it. When anger visits, observe it and release it. When sadness comes, honor it and let it move through you. The problem is not emotion itself. The problem is attachment, holding on. Each time you cling to an old hurt, you add another layer of dust to your spirit, and over time, that dust hardens into bitterness. True spiritual hygiene is a daily discipline. You clean the mind through awareness, the heart through forgiveness, and the energy through gratitude. These three are the soap of the unseen world. When practiced consistently, they renew you. You begin to notice that negativity no longer sticks the same way. Insults don't wound, stress doesn't linger, and the energy of others cannot define your state. The clean mind is light, alert, and receptive to truth. It doesn't absorb darkness because it has nothing in common with it. It simply reflects like a mirror, untouched by what it reveals. So, cleanse yourself every day, not for perfection, but for clarity. Because the pure heart walks through fire and remains untouched, not because the flames avoid it, but because it has nothing left that can burn. Everything in life begins with intention. Every thought, every word, every action, even silence, carries an underlying intention that shapes its energy. Intention is not something mystical, it's direction. It's the invisible line your energy follows. Most people drift through their days without it, and then wonder why life feels chaotic. Without intention, your energy is scattered, responding to circumstances rather than guiding them. But when you live with clear intention, your energy becomes structured. It moves with purpose, not reaction. The moment you wake up and say, "Today, I choose peace. Today, I choose to act from love," you've already begun shaping your reality. This simple act of conscious direction transforms how you interpret everything that happens. Challenges no longer appear as threats, but as teachers. People who test your patience become mirrors showing where you can grow. Life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. Intention works because it aligns your inner world with your outer experience. Whatever you intend becomes a filter through which you perceive. If your intention is love, you will see love in places others overlook. If your intention is fear, you will find reasons to be afraid everywhere you go. The law is simple. What you expect, you attract. What you intend, you embody. That's why protection doesn't come from rituals or symbols. It comes from the energy your intention sets in motion. When you declare within yourself, only what serves my highest growth may enter my space, you establish boundaries that no external force can cross. Your energy starts to obey your words. You become a conscious architect of your own field. This practice is subtle but powerful. It doesn't require constant effort, only awareness. Set your intention once clearly, and then live in accordance with it. Every time your attention wavers, return to it like returning to your breath. Over time, intention becomes your natural posture, your spiritual armor that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. So, begin each day not by predicting what will happen, but by choosing how you will move through it. Because the world doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you intend. And a mind guided by clear intention is already protected by its own light. ChatGPT said, detachment is often misunderstood. Many think it means indifference or not caring about anything. But detachment is not the absence of emotion. It is the presence of wisdom. It means being fully engaged with life while understanding that you don't own any part of it. You experience everything deeply, yet remain free from the need to control outcomes. This state of freedom is one of the highest forms of protection a human being can cultivate. When you are attached to people, results, recognition, or control, you create invisible chains. Your peace becomes dependent on things you cannot command. The moment those things shift, your stability crumbles. That's when fear enters, when anxiety takes root, when manipulation from the outside begins to work. But when you live detached, your inner state is no longer at the mercy of external events. You can face loss, change, or even chaos without losing yourself. You remain steady, like the sky watching clouds pass by, untouched by their shape or storm. Detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It allows you to love without possession, to help without expectation, to work without desperation. You still care deeply, but you are no longer defined by the outcome. This is what makes the detached person so powerful. Nothing has leverage over them. They cannot be threatened with loss, because they understand that nothing real can ever be taken from them. In psychological terms, this is emotional independence. In spiritual terms, it is liberation. You no longer chase approval or fear rejection. You no longer cling to what has ended or panic about what's to come. You participate in life fully, but your peace no longer fluctuates with the tides of circumstance. And it's in that steadiness that true protection lies. When nothing outside of you controls your state, no external energy can disturb it. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop being pulled and start guiding. So remember this, the one who clings suffers, the one who lets go transforms. Detachment does not make you distant from life. It makes you unshakable within it, because nothing can harm the soul that has learned to hold everything, yet be held by nothing. The final understanding is perhaps the most profound. The world is not against you, it is reflecting you. Every experience, every person, every challenge that enters your life mirrors something within you. Life does not send random events. It responds to your internal state. When your mind is restless, your outer world feels chaotic. When your heart is at peace, even difficulties appear manageable. The outer and the inner are never separate. They are two sides of the same law. Most people spend their lives trying to fix the reflection rather than the source. They argue with others, resist situations, and fight for control, without realizing they are only wrestling with their own projection. The more you try to change what's outside without understanding what's inside, the more life repeats the same lesson in different forms. You meet the same type of people, encounter the same conflicts, feel the same emotions, until you finally recognize that the world has been showing you yourself all along. This is not punishment, it is education. The law of reflection is life's way of guiding you toward awareness. When you see anger around you, it's asking you to notice the unresolved anger within. When you experience constant judgment, it's inviting you to observe the places where you still judge yourself. Once you understand this, you stop blaming and start transforming. That is when the energy begins to shift, not through resistance, but through realization. It takes humility to see life this way, because it means accepting responsibility for your experience. But responsibility is not the same as guilt, it's empowerment. When you understand that your outer world mirrors your inner vibration, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You begin to consciously clean, align, and elevate your internal state, and the world reorganizes itself to match it. There is no stronger protection than inner harmony. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move as one, you radiate coherence, and incoherent energies cannot stay near you. The world stops attacking because it recognizes you as whole. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What in me is being shown?" Because the moment you learn to read the reflection, you no longer need protection, you become it.